Hello, this is Tim Wilson with Ask Mando TV. I'm standing here with Jason Clary. Jason is his company is Visions of the World, and for the American developers, you might not be familiar with that company. But Jason, tell us a little bit about your company. And you were on the roundtable today at we're at the CRda conference, which is the Canadian Resort Developers Association. And Jason was one of the speakers today. If you tell me a little bit about your company and what you do.
Well, what we do is we're an international media for advertising and marketing secondary timeshare. That's on the resale and the rental sector as well. And what we do is we market through internet-based advertising, whether that be Google, Yahoo, MSN, pay-per-click, so on and so forth, social media, whatever it may be. We market owners' timeshares, and we hopefully move them onto a resale or even a rental, just so that if they're not using them, we can do something for them.
You know, resale is kind of a hot topic. It's unusual. Years ago, a resale company would not have been sitting at a table at an association event, but yet you're here as a speaker, so obviously CRda feels very comfortable with your company. What do you feel is involved in that? How do you do it differently?
I think one of the main reasons why associations are now looking to resale companies and looking at what they do is because of some of the very poor resale companies, or so-called resale companies, that are in the marketplace now in both the US and in Europe. And I think it's become such an issue with some of the poor companies out there that they've had to look at the companies that do things correctly, or apply a code of ethics or something along those lines. And I think they've now realised that there has to be a secondary market. There has to be a resale market. Without no resale market, you almost devalue your own product. If you're a developer, if you say you can't resell it, or you make it difficult for companies to resell and move these weeks on, what I believe happens is that opens the gateway for timeshare relief companies. These companies that then tell them that their timeshare is worthless, and some of the contribution towards that would have been from a developer not actively hoping, getting a resale product out there. I think what it also does as well, in my opinion, is if you've got too many of these relief companies about, the one thing that's going to happen is you're going to lose revenue if you're a developer from a maintenance point of view. If it's not being resold on, and let's be fair, I don't know how many are resold on when these relief companies are involved, but at some point there's going to be a fall off in management fees and maintenance fees, and it's going to be almost a double whammy for the developers, I think, personally, because they're going to lose revenue from there as well. As I said today in the forum, I believe if you liaise with resale companies that provide a decent service, and you're happy with them as well, if you're a developer, you've got to be happy with who you're dealing with. I believe over a period of maybe a few years, you'll be able to pull the resale prices up, and also you'll be at least giving your consumer and your owner, some help, and not just palming them off.
I listened very carefully to your session today, and there was one point that that you made that was kind of interesting to me as a developer myself, and it was kind of tough to take as a developer, but it was an interesting point, and that was who your demographics are, the people who are coming into you and buying these units, and obviously we have existing owners who know about the product, but I also understood that a lot of these people are coming off a tour, getting in their car, and basically searching the internet for product.
Yeah, I think that, with the way the internet is nowadays, doesn't matter what you're buying. Let's take timeshare out of the equation. You're going to do your homework a lot better, and the internet allows you to do that. What you'll find is when searches are made for specific developments, programs, whatever it may be, is you'll find that probably mainly the only people that come up on the first page are resale agents. Does that mean that developers are not putting enough money into developing their websites so they come up? I don't know. But when you find that the resale companies are coming up, obviously, and I mean the good resale companies, I don't mean anybody that's doing pay-per-click and they don't come up in the natural listings or the organic listings. You've got to come up in the organic listings if you're a valid resale company. But at the end of the day, for resale companies to come up above developments, well, are they actually looking at that issue? Because let's be fair, anybody that's going to purchase anything nowadays is going to research it especially when they have a rescission period, they're going to research it. And what do? I don't know. It's not an easy answer on that one. It's a tough one.
Well, but it's a straight up deal. I mean, developers need to understand that. Either you've got to close your customer, you've got to provide a good product, and you got to understand that these guys a lot of them are leaving the tour or leaving the closing table and hitting the internet, checking you out, and checking the resale side of it too. So I mean, that's just life. The developer's got to understand it and got to deal with it.
Personally, I feel, and I can speak from another point of view now, because we opened up 2 new offices in the UK, and we have a presentation site where we have customers come in now, and we're selling RCI points. And what I suppose, coming from a resale side, we know what happens. So what we do in the first 14 days of rescission, we are on the phone to them all the time. Maybe some developers need to, I still want the business, but at the end of the day, maybe some developers need to look at their consolidation period and what they do over that consolidation period, because we've seen that with the RCI points program that we're running, we have to consolidate quite a few times within that period of cancellation.
So what you're saying is the sale's not over when the guy leaves the closing table.
No, it's not.
You better lock him in and keep him locked in.
Yeah, consolidation is the key, I think. Yeah. That's the only way I think you will, any way, shape or form, be able to cope with what they're going to find on the internet.
And there was another thing I remember from the presentation was when you're looking at the companies that, of course, these people are coming to you, they're fairly educated as to what they're buying, and they're coming to you for specific properties that they're looking to buy, and you're finding that that's fairly consistent, that the better resorts are the ones that they have the higher resale values, and that's the ones that the people are coming for.
Yeah, the hospitality groups are doing extremely well. Marriott probably had that up. And then followed by your Hilton and so on and so forth. And obviously we have a few in Europe as well. We have De Vere, and there's a few other developments and hospitality groups that we have, and we find that they do best on the resale market. I think maybe what it is with, in my opinion, with different developments and different programs, is you find that you get a very good service, and the customer service from the hospitality groups, especially the hoteliers, is extremely good. And I think they like that feeling of, I'm with Marriott or I'm with Hilton or whatever it may be. You know, we don't get as much now for standalone developer resorts, not as much as we would like, but I think the hospitality groups are definitely doing leaps and bounds. At the moment we have a development in Spain which, if we could get more weeks in the good periods of the year, we'd be selling them all day long. We get more people looking to buy than sell. That's a good positive. It's positive. That's a positive thing for the industry. I think what most people have to do, though, in my opinion, is we do have to start working together. And I think that was key today with probably all 3 of us that spoke today.
That was the panel had obviously a couple of resale companies, but it also had developers.
Yeah.
And the bottom line was, if you're a developer, you might want to start taking a different look at how you're doing your resales, and maybe looking at some of these companies, because it's like you say, they're not coming to you specifically for this smaller resort or a single-owned resort, a single developer resort. But if that developer comes to you and starts working with you, that can be a whole different story.
Yeah. We run a program mainly in Europe, but we have a couple of people overseas where we develop specific pages within our website. We specifically optimise those to pick up traffic specifically for those programs, developments, whatever they may be, and it's worked very, very well. As I've said, we do liaise at the moment with a lot of homeowners associations that have huge unsold inventory, and we're working with those. Because at the end of the day, if you're a developer and you've still got sales staff in there, you're going to sell weeks. If you're a homeowners association run by the owners and you've got 25% unsold stock, inevitably at some point there's going to be an issue with the result, whether that may be, it liquidates. I don't know. But what we chose to do it with a development that we work closely with, and we've gone from, I think it was 25% unsold stock down to about 18% unsold stock in about 12 months. So hopefully within another 12 or so months, because we've got the extra office now in Manchester, hopefully we'll be able to close that one out and then move on to the next one.
Good. Well, it's been nice visiting with you today, and I'm enjoying Canada.
I'm enjoying Canada.
It's been Tim Wilson for Ask Mando TV.